Hey y'all are back. I know you missed me because I missed you guys. So in today's video, I am going to talk about Cosmo School, beauty school, cosmetology school, all that. I'm going to talk about 5 reasons why you should go to cosmetology school. Yup. I know you're at home thinking, oh my gosh, what is this school? What is it about? Is it college? Is it going to be easy? Oh, I could brush through it. Well, I'm about to let you know if you should go or not. Real quick, honey. So y'all stay tuned. In this video, I will be telling you if you should go to cosmetology school. We all been there thinking like, should we do this? Like, what is it really worth it? But if you're taking the time to consider going, you probably want to go really bad. So these 5 reasons are the most important reasons to consider when you're going to cosmetology school. There will be more reasons, but to me, this is why I went. And let's get straight to it. So you have to consider reason 1. Are you working in your passion? And with that, are you working in the career that you want to work in? Do you go to work and be like, man, this is boring, I don't want to be here, and then end up going home and having the blast doing your hair? Or you're doing hair as a side hustle, not as a main career choice. Maybe cosmetology school is for you, because you always should work in the field that you want to be in. It doesn't make sense going to work every single day, 365 days a year, and be unhappy. So if you're thinking that, you should consider going to cosmetology school. Hey, are you dedicated? Okay, people think because it's beauty school or hair school that it's just so much easier. Like, they think it's not real education. Like, let's be real, it's not as easy as you think. So when you consider going to cosmetology school, you need to consider, or how dedicated are you? Do you have time allocated to go to school? It's not one of those things like you will just go in a couple weeks and you will be done. It's not like that. You have to dedicate enough time throughout the day, throughout years, to go to school. Because now I think it's 1,000 hours you have to complete in order to get your license. When I went to school, it was 1,500 hours. Like, that sounds like a long damn time. So I had to tell myself I'm dedicated enough to finish the 1,500 hours to get my license. Period. So do you have enough time dedicated? Also, are you dedicated enough to pay the amount of cosmetology school? When I was researching schools, there are a few schools in my area, and they have a whole different set of price ranges. One of the most expensive schools, it literally cost about $22,000 to go to hair school. I was like, oh no ma'am, that's a Camry, that's a Corolla. $22,000 for school, and I just left the university. Anyway, that obviously got off my list, but that's something you have to consider. Like I said, this is not something easy. This is not like a 2-week program. This is an actual education curriculum that will give you your license. So you have to make sure you have enough funds to pay for that, and it does get a little pricey. So make sure you keep that into consideration, or you even budget yourself each month until you're ready to go. And also look into a lot of schools, because they do offer payment plans. And the $22,000 school, I know y'all know what I'm talking about. They do have a loan program, so if y'all interested in getting loans, go on and get it, girl or guy. The third thing I have to say about that is your schedule. You do, like I said, you have to be really dedicated that you have time in your schedule to go to school. It's not one of those things that you just pop up, okay, I woke up at 11, let me go to school. No. At my school, you had to be there at 9, and the latest you could arrive was 9:07 in the morning. 9:08, you can't be at school that day. So you have to make sure you dedicate enough time to be at school on time. And also, they did have a part-time program, so after 2 o'clock, 2:30, you could go home. So make sure you consider that, because not everybody could just go to school every single day. So if you do have a part-time job, or you still work at night, or you want to go to a school at night, just make sure you schedule your cosmetology school in your actual life. Number 3, can you afford it? Okay, that's like I just said. It was a little Camry to go to school. Can you afford, do you have enough money to go to school? Or do you need this money to survive or do other things? there are different things that can help you get through school. Like for me, I was offered a grant, and if it wasn't for that grant, sweetie, I don't know if I could have went to school. I know when I was in high school, I was offered the opportunity to go to school as an elective, and it would have been cost-free. And I always regret not taking that. Like, that would have been so much easier. By the time I graduate, I would have my license. But anyway, so just take into consideration, if you're even offered to attend school at a discounted price, maybe you should consider it, because school is not cheap. So if y'all are in high school, or if they offer at your college, or whatever the case is, you should take it into consideration if it's at a reasonable price. And you also should consider the location. At my school, there was a lot of people traveling like 2-hour drives just to go to school. Honey, I'm not driving 2 hours to go to school every day. That's just not in me. I will find something in my area. But they weren't offered that, so no shade to them. But you have to consider that they were dedicated enough to wake up early enough to beat traffic early enough to make it to school before 9:07, because they used to be there before me sometimes. So you really have to consider your location when you're choosing schools. Just because the name might be great, if it's a 45 minutes or 20 minutes, however far, that's too far for you. And that's another thing to consider when you're choosing cosmetology schools. 4. What is your interest? What is your skill of choice? Okay, nowadays people are making money doing hair on YouTube, on Instagram. This girl might be really great at doing this, so I'm gonna just go see her because I can see her work and it looks really great. But if you're choosing a field that does not need a license, maybe you don't need cosmetology school. I know in Houston, to be a braider, you don't need to go to school. Like, people will be braiding in shops all day, no license, but they don't need one. So depending on where you live or the specialty you want to partake in, like if you are interested in balayages or highlights or anything that contains washing of the scalp, you would need to go to cosmetology school. I'm not too sure, but I believe even doing sew-ins, you don't need cosmetology schools. But I don't know the loopholes with that. Maybe you don't have to wash the hair, but ooh, excuse me. But to me, I don't know. To me, since I went to school, and even not going to school, you need a clean scalp. I don't know how else to start. So I don't know any loopholes with that. But just take that into consideration. If you know you're just going to braid forever, you don't need school, because they honestly don't teach you braiding at school that you probably thought they would. Oh yeah, also people are doing tons of wigs, hunty. You know I love me a good wig, okay? And a lot of those people that you see on Instagram buying wigs and doing all that neat stuff you see on YouTube and on celebrities, they don't even have a license. So you see them going further in the industry, and you're like, do I even need a license if they made it this far without one? That's just something to consider. You're not promised anything nowadays. So take into consideration who are the instructors at your school. Location should tell you the area of people that will come there, and even take a tour of your school and try to see who's the instructors there. There could be a lot of well-known people working at certain cosmetology schools that you'll be trained under them. So take that into consideration, because that does make a difference. I know when I was researching cosmetology schools, I visited a lot of Vietnamese cosmetology schools because they were really affordable, and I didn't go there because I don't want y'all to teach me how to do a silk press, and that's that on that. So just make sure you think about that as well. And the last thing on my list, which I feel like is the most important thing, is, do you want to legitimate your name or your brand? Obviously, whenever you finish 1,000 hours, you will be, well, after you take the state board test and everything else, you will be licensed. So with that being said, do you want a license or not? And that should be it when you consider cosmetology school. Just think of it as this, y'all. When you want to see a doctor, right? When you see their certifications on the wall, do you want to go to the one that went to Yale, okay? Or do you want to go to the one that went to ICDC? Even though I know that you can't be a doctor. But anyway, just think, ICDC or Yale. It just sounds better that, this person is more qualified. Because being a cosmetologist, besides your work, me seeing how great your work is and me liking what I've seen on this person, being licensed is just a set thing. Like, oh wow, she actually went to school, she was committed to the 1,000 or 1,500 hours, and at the minimum, I know she knows how to disinfect, how to sanitize, how to do a press and curl. Like, at least I know she knows the minimum. Say somebody is going through a list of applicants, a lot of opportunities are given more to the person that is licensed versus the unlicensed, and that's just that, the harsh reality. So just consider that. Do you really want to up your brand to more opportunities with the license title? Okay, so those are the 5 things I feel like are most important to consider when you want to go to beauty school. I wish you well on your journey in the beauty industry. So y'all stay tuned to my next video. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comment area. And if you think there's any more things to consider, please leave them in my comment. Those were important to me. Maybe there's other things I'm thinking about. But like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you in my next video.